everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 9 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password is provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 9 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter direct and indirect variations. And the lessons we're going to cover are write and solve inverse variation equations, identify proportional relationships, find the constant of variation, write inverse variation equations, identify direct variation and inverse variation. So let's just start with the first lesson. Please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So let's just start with the lesson write and solve inverse variation equations. Okay, here I'm on the lesson. Okay, assume that y varies inversely with x, right? So basically, the inverse proportion or the inverse variation means if one of the value is increasing, the second value is decreasing, right? You can find the proportionality of constant by you can find the constant of variation by y equals kx, right? You need to find the value of k and then you can find, like for example, this one is assume that y varies inversely with x. If y equals 4 when y equals 6, find y. Assume that y varies inversely with x, right? If y equals 2 and x equals 6, find y when x equal to, right? So you have to use the constant of variation, that is y equals kx. Just use this x and y and find the value of k. So it is y equals 4, kx is 6. So that would be k equals 4 over 6. That means k equals 2 over 3, right? Now you have to find the value of y when x is 2. So that is y. Again, use the same equation. X is 2. We are given k, that is 2 over 3. Find the value of 4. So that would be 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 over 3. So that means when x equals 2, y equals 4 over 3. Got it? The correct option is 4 over 3. Hold on. K equals xy. Then y equals k over x. That is y equals, hold on. Okay, that is k equals xy, right? So you are given y equals 4 and x equals 6. So it would be 6 times 4. That means k equals 24, right? Here now you are given x. You have to, and you need to calculate the value of y. So then y equals k over x, right? K equals xy, so y equals k over x. So k is 24, x is 2. That means then y equals 12, right? Because they are inversely proportional. Got it? Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, assume that that's the one we just did on the board, I think. Assume that y varies inversely with x. If y equals 4 when x equals 6, find y when x equals 2. Write and solve an inverse variation equations to find the answer, right? Yes, that's the one we did on board. Basically, what we have to do, you have k equals x over xy, right? So find the k, use x and y. X is 4, y is 6, and calculate the value of k, that is 24, right? Now you can find the u. For this one, you have to find y. So y equals k over x. So k is 24 and x is 2. So that would be 12. So the correct option is 12, right? You can see x is decreasing, y is increasing, that because they are the inverse proportion. The correct option is 12. Assume that y varies inversely with x. If y equals 3 when x equals 16, find y when x equals 4. So you don't need to do the same thing, just find the value of k. We know that k equals x times y. So just use these values and calculate the value of k. So that would be 16 times 3, that is 48. Now you need to find the value of y when x equals 4. So it would be y equals k over x. K is 48, x is 4, that would be 12. So that means then y equals 12. Got it? The correct option is 12. Okay, assume that y varies inversely with x. Okay, yeah, that is the same one. Okay, an inverse variation includes the point 2, 2 and 1 n. Find n, write and solve an inverse variation equation to find the answer. Okay, so just use this point and calculate the k value, right? This is x value and this is y value. So k equals x times y. So you need to do 2 times 2, that would be 4. So k is 4, right? Now for this one, you need to calculate the value of n. So that would be like y factor you need to find, right? So it would be y equals k over x. K is 4 and x is 1. So that would be 4 over 1 is 4. That means the value of y is 4. Got it? That means then y equals 4. Okay, the next one is an inverse variation includes the point 2 and 4 and 1 and find n, right? And solve an inverse variation equation to find the answer. Okay, why they are inverse variation? That is very important, right? You can see here x is 2, y is 4, right? So x is decreasing and y is increasing, right? If the one value is increasing, the second value is decreasing with the same amount, that would be inverse variation, right? So just use this point and calculate the value of k. K equals xy. So you need to do 2 times 4, that is 2 times 4 is 8. So that means k equals 8. Now use this point and calculate the value of y, right? So that would be k, y equals k divided by x. K is 8 and x is 1, so that would be 8. You can see x is decreasing but y is increasing, right? So that's why they are the inverse proportions. So the correct option is 8. Got it? Okay, the next one is an inverse. Assume that y varies inversely with x. If y equals 2 when x equals 9, find y when x equals 3. See, x is decreasing, right? That means y is increasing. Got it? Earlier you have x equals 9, x is decreasing. That means y must be increasing, right? Just use these two values and calculate the value of k. K equals y times x. So that would be 9 times 2, that is 18. right? Now y equals k over x, so that is 18, and 18 divided by 3, so 3 times 6 is 18, so the correct option is 6, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Okay, the next lesson is identify proportional relationships. Let's just start with the lesson. Okay, look at this graph. Is the total cost directly proportional to the number of guests? Okay, so just look at the graph. Here is the guest and here is the cost, right? You can see as cost is increasing, guest is increasing 5, 6, 7, 8. The cost is also increasing 5, 6, 7, 8, right? That means yes, they are directly proportional. Directly proportional means if one of the value is increasing, the other one is also increasing. They are the directly proportional, right? So yes, the given value is the directly proportional, the correct option. You can just let me just read here. You can tell the relationship is not directly proportional by looking at the graph. The graph is a straight line, but it does not passes through the origin, so the relationship is not okay. So the relationship is not directly proportional. You can also confirm that a linear function is not directly by showing that the relationship cannot be written as y equals k times x. The ratio k is not constant, so the relationship cannot be described by the equation y equals kx, where k is the constant. The graph of proportional relationship is a straight line. That is very important. The graph of the proportional relationship is a straight line that passes through the origin. Proportional quantities can be described by equation y equals kx, where k is a constant. Got it? So the graph is proportional. The graph must be straight line and passing through the origin. Let's just start with the test questions. Okay. Look at this graph. Is this graph directly proportional? Yes or no? So no, this is not the directly proportional, right? If the graph is directly proportional, that means graph must be a straight line and passing through the origin. So that is not the directly proportional. The correct option is no. Got it? Okay, look at this graph. Is the relationship directly proportional? Which is the correct option? Yes or no? Just look at the graph carefully. The correct option is yes, because graph is a straight line and passing through the. Yes, that is directly proportional. The correct option is yes. Okay, the next one is look at this graph. Is this a directly proportional relationship? Which is the correct option? Yes, it is directly proportional, right? Graph is passing through the origin. Okay, the next one is this graph, look at this graph. Is there a directly proportional relationship? Which is the correct option? Yes or no? The correct option is yes, it is directly proportional, right? Because the graph is passing through the origin. Look at this graph. Is this a directly proportional relationship? The correct option is no. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to the next lesson. And the next lesson is find the constant of variation. Okay, this graph shows how the number of cakes Colleen can bake is related to the number of eggs she has. What is the constant of variation? Okay, you are given the graph, you have to calculate the constant of variation. How do you calculate the constant of variation? Just look at the graph. You need to calculate the slope, change in y divided by change in x, right? Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, this graph shows how the total number of souvenirs Blanca buys is related to the number of days she spent on vacation. What is the constant of variation? Okay, just use any 2 points from the graph and calculate the slope, right? I'm going to use this one 50, 10, 50, 50, 10, and you can use any 2 points on the graph, right? Or either you can use 0, 0, and 10, 50. Okay, let's just use the point 0, 0, and because graph is passing through the origin, so they are 0, 0, and 50 and 10. Let's just calculate the slope. Slope is change in y. 10 minus 0 divided by chain is x 50 minus 0, that is 10 over 50, and that equals 1 over 5, right? 1 over 5 means 0.20 it is. So the correct option is 0.20. The correct option is 0.50. Okay, the graph shows how the total number of postcards Kira buys is related to the number of days she spent on vacation. What is the constant of variation? So just use any 2 points on the graph and calculate the constant of variation. Basically that is a change. Okay, this one, and so this is 5 and x is 5, y is 3. X is 6 and y is x is 10 and y is 6. Okay, let's just calculate the slope. Slope is change in y divided by change in x. That would be 3 over 5. The correct option is 3 over 5. Hold on. That is 0.60. The correct option is 0.60. Okay, this graph shows how the cost of Ronnie's birthday party depends on the number of guests. Okay, let's just use any 2 points on the graph and calculate the slope. Okay, so here is the point and here is the point. So for this one it is 20 40. For this one 20 and 40. For this one you have 30 and 60. Okay, that is change in y 30 minus 20 divided by change in x 40 minus 60, that is 10 divided by 20, that is 1 over 2. So the correct option is 0.5. That is 0.5. So the correct option is 0. The correct option is, which is the correct option? That is 4. The correct option is 4. Okay, hold on, let me check. Just select any 2.00 and x is 1, y is 2. So that would be 2 minus 0 divided by 1 minus 0. That is 2 over 1 and correct option is 2. Right? That means the correct option is 2. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Okay, and the next lesson is write inverse variation equations. Okay, now we're going to learn how to write the equations, right? In inverse, just look at the example. In an inverse variation, y equals 3 and x equals 6. Write an inverse equation that shows the relationship between x and y. Right? So you're given x and y. You can find k by multiplying x and y, right? So that would be 18. Then you have y equals k over x. So that would be k is 18 and x is, that means the constant of variation is inverse variation. It is y equals 18 over x. Okay, let's just start with the practice questions. In inverse variation, y equals 2 and x equals 2. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. Right? So you have your given x and y. You can calculate the value of k because k equals x times y. X is 2, y is 2, so that means k equals 4. Right? Okay, you have to calculate the equation. Okay, now the equation is y equals k over x. So k is 4, so that would be y equals 4 over x, right? Then y equals 4x. Multiply x on the side, so that would be y equals 4x. The correct option is y equals 4x, right? Okay, in an inverse variation, y equals 12 and x equals 12. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. Okay, let's just calculate the value of k first, right? K equals xy. So here your x is 2y. K equals xy, that means 12 times 2, that is 24, right? Then you have y equals k over x. So k is 24 over x. Y equals 24 over x, right? So then xy equals 24, right? So the correct option is option number 1, that is xy equals 24. Option number 1 is the correct option. In an inverse variation, y equals 4 and x equals 12. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y, right? You have to write down the equation also. So you are given x and y, use xy and calculate the value of k. That would be k equals y times x, right? So that would be 12 times 4, that is 48. So k equals 48, right? Now you can use the equation that is k equals y over x. Y is 48 equals y over x, right? Then y equals 48x. So the correct option is xy equals 48. Got it? The correct option is 48. Okay, very good. In an inverse variation, y equals 3 and x equals 12. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. So which is the correct option? Yes, that is xy equals 36. Option number 1 is the correct option. Very good. Okay, in an inverse relationship, in an inverse variation, y equals 2 when x equals 4. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. So, which is the correct option? that is y equals 8 over x. The correct option is y equals 8 over x. Option number 2 is the correct option. Okay, in inverse proportion, inverse variation, y equals 3 when x equals 6. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. So, which is the correct option? Option 1 or 2? Yes, that equals xy equals 18. Option number 1 is the correct option. Because usually very less students come on grade 9, 10 session. They see later, not live session. In an inverse variation, y equals 2 and x equals 8. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. So, which is the correct option? Yes, that is xy equals 16. The correct option is option number 1. Very good. That is xy equals 16. Okay, in an inverse variation, y equals 1 and x equals 6. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. So, which is the correct option? Yes, the correct option is xy equals 6. Option number 1 is the correct option. Got it? In an inverse variation, y equals 3 when x equals 8. Write the inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. So, which is the correct option? Yes, it is xy equals 24. Option number 1 is the correct option. Got it? Okay, the next one is an inverse variation y equals 2 and x equals 16. Write an inverse variation equation that shows the relationship between x and y. So, which is the correct option? The correct option is yes, that is y equals 32 over x. Option number 2 is the correct option. Got it? Okay, you can complete. We are done with the lesson. So we were working on grade 9 math. The chapter we're working on is direct and indirect variation. And the lessons we have covered from the chapter are write and solve inverse variation equations, identify proportional relationships, find the constant of variation, and write inverse variation equations. So please make sure before the next session you complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday, 5 to 9. Okay. So that's all for today. If you have any question, you can please ask. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have.